Hey, what's up, YouTubers? This is Saber275, and welcome to the Saber's Lair. Tonight I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be reading off my Kindle and off my computer, so I'm going to ask you to bear with me. Excuse me. Tonight I was reading a pamphlet by the U.S. Concealed Carry Association called Concealed Carry Beginner's Crash Course: What Every Armed Citizen Must Know About Carrying a Concealed Firearm. Anyway, and I came across something that I thought was interesting. And I kind of wanted to kind of share this with people. There we go. Anyway, as I was reading, I came across something called the Citizen Self-Defense Act of 2001. And I'd never heard of it, so I thought I'd look it up. And in 2001, there was a bill that was sponsored by several Republicans, which was referred to the Committee on the Judiciary, and it was presented to the House on January 3rd, 2001. Anyway, apparently the bill died, and on June 21st, 2011, this bill was reintroduced, again referred to the Committee on the Judiciary. In 2001, I'm looking at govtrack.us. In 2001, it was referred to the Subcommittee on Crime, and apparently it just died in committee. And then June 21st of 2011, it was reintroduced, and it was referred to give me a second here. It was referred to the House Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security, and that was on August 25th of 2011. So as of right now, it's still sitting in committee. If you are a firearms owner and believe in personal defense, home defense, that kind of thing, this is an important bill. I searched YouTube and didn't see anything on it, and felt that somebody should do something on it because it benefits us as gun owners, as people who are trying to protect our personal, ourselves, our families, our property. And I'm gonna kind of go through the bill a little bit. And basically it starts off to protect the right to obtain firearms for security and to use firearms in defense of self, family, or home, and to provide for the enforcement of such right. Okay, I'm going to put the link to I'm going to put a couple links down below. One will be to the current bill as it stands right now. And let's see. Section 2, the Congress finds the following: police cannot protect and are not legally liable for failing to protect individual citizens as evidenced by the following. The courts have consistently ruled that the police do not have an obligation to protect individuals, only the public in general. And it cites a case, Warren versus District of Columbia Metropolitan Police Department, in 1981, where the court stated, Courts have, without exception, concluded that when a municipality or other governmental entity undertakes to furnish police services, it assumes a duty only to the public at large and not to individual members of the community. That's a pretty big statement for people who believe that the police are here to protect and serve, because the police are not here to protect and serve one individual, only the community at large. Former Florida Attorney General Jim Smith told Florida legislators that police responded only to 200,000 of 700,000 calls for help to Dade County authorities. Now, the wording on this version of the bill is exactly the same as the one in 2001. So, who knows, these numbers that they're throwing out here, were right for the time. Here we are, 11 years later, who knows? The United States Department of Justice found that in 1989, there were 168,881 crimes of violence for which police had not responded within 1 hour. Citizens frequently must use firearms to defend themselves, as evidenced by the following. Every year, more than 2.4 million people in the United States use a gun to defend themselves against criminals, or more than 6,500 people per day. This means that each year firearms are used 60 times more often to protect the lives of honest citizens than to take lives. Of the 2.4 million self-defense cases, more than 192,000 are by women defending themselves against sexual abuse. Of the 2.4 million times citizens use their guns to defend themselves every year, 92% merely brandish their gun or fire a warning shot to scare off their attackers. Less than 8% of the time does a citizen kill or wound his or her attacker. Section 3 says law-abiding citizens seeking only to provide for their family's defense are routinely prosecuted for brandishing or using a firearm in self-defense. And then it lists an example. It lists 4 examples, lettered from A to D. And then Section 4 or Part 4 of Section 2 says the courts have granted immunity from prosecution to police officers who use firearms in the line of duty. Similarly, law-abiding citizens who use firearms to protect themselves, their families, and their homes against violent felons should not be subject to lawsuits by the violent felons who sought to victimize them. And we see this frequently, where people get shot for attacking somebody, and then they turn around and sue the person for damages because they suffered some kind of physical injury, or if someone is killed, family members, file civil suits. Section 3 of this bill, the right to obtain firearms for security and to use firearms in defense of self, family, or home enforcement. It reaffirms the right of a person that is not prohibited from receiving a firearm, and it cites the Title 18 of the U.S. Section Code, shall have the right to obtain firearm for security and to use firearms in defense of self or family against a reasonably perceived threat of imminent and unlawful infliction of serious bodily injury, in defense of self or family in the course of the commission by another person of a violent felony against a person or a member of the person's family, and in defense of the person's home in the course of commission of a felony by another person. And then it goes on to define firearms. And then Part C of Section 3 says, enforcement of right. In general, a person whose right under subsection A is violated in any manner may bring an action in any U.S. District Court against the United States, any state, or any person for damages, injunctive relief, and such other relief as the court deems appropriate. In an action brought under paragraph 1, the court in its discretion may allow the prevailing plaintiff a reasonable attorney's fee as part of the cost, and any action may not be brought under paragraph 1 after 5 years period that begins with the date the violation described in paragraph 1 is discovered. So, this is a very important bill for those of us that are gun owners, and want to use our firearms to defend ourselves, our property, and our loved ones. And nobody's talking about this, Sorry about this hat thing, but it's bugging me. Anyway, I think, that we need to look at the committee, and I'll have that information in a link down below. And we need to encourage them to pass this, to get the ball on this rolling. Society's getting bad. I don't know about in your area, but in my area, home invasions and burglaries have gone up. I read the paper several times a week, and I specifically look for that information. And I'm seeing, about 4 to 5. I live in a small area, but about 4 to 5 a day on average, where people are breaking into other people's homes, and other types of thefts and burglaries are occurring. And we need to be able to defend ourselves without fear of repercussion from the law, or these idiots that decide that they want to live on the wrong side of the law and decide to try to break into our homes. So this is just kind of an awareness video. I think that we should, the link I'm going to give you is going to list all the committee members and their DC phone numbers, as well as their email addresses, or there's a contact form, that's what it is. And I think that in regard to this, we need them to kind of get the let out and start moving this through Congress so that this thing can get passed, because certainly this is something that we as law-abiding citizens who want to protect ourselves and our loved ones and our property need to have. We need to know that we can defend ourselves without repercussions. I'm not a Republican by any stretch of the imagination, but this is one time I'm actually happy to see that there's more Republicans on this committee than Democrats. So anyway, I'm going to put the links down below. I'm going to ask that you spread this video around so that we can get the YouTube gun community on top of this thing, so that we can start letting these congressmen and women know that this is something that we want. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, and remember, always be safe and be responsible in your gun handling and in your actions.